Honorable Cornelia and the team, able team at the ministry, for the kind invitation extended to me to serve as chief launcher of this inaugural National Cadet Program. In November 1988, a very significant thing happened in my life. I began a 6-month internship program in the Controller's Department at the Liberia Petroleum Refining Company, LPRC. I have just passed to the senior class at the Bong National Institute, BWI, a successful completion of a 6-month internship was then one of the hard requirements for obtaining a diploma from BWI. So from November 1, 1988 to April 30, 1989, I had the privilege and the honor of not only donning an ID card issued by LPRC and riding to and from work in one of the company's large, elegant, and air-conditioned buses. I also saw in real life the practical application of some of the accounting concepts and principles I had learned in BWI classrooms. I developed hard and soft skills and learned from great and accommodating bosses. When I returned to school in May 1989 to complete my senior class studies and earn a high school diploma months later, I was a stronger, a smarter, a more practical person than what I was when I began the internship or cadet program. Later in life, I would work and succeed in multiple jobs, thanks in no small measure to the solid professional experience I acquired as an intern or cadet during that formative, impressionable period of my life. Fast forward, May 15, 2026, in the beautiful city of Gbarnga, time and propitious circumstances have given me the privilege of serving as chief launcher of the National Cadet Program of the government of Liberia, in which more than 1,000 university graduates or graduating seniors will be assigned at various institutions over a 6-month period to acquire practical skills that will eventually and hopefully ease their transition to the workplace. The National Cadet Program that we launched today is fully funded by the government of Liberia and is one of several initiatives being undertaken to actualize President Walker's illustrious vision for youth empowerment and intergenerational equity. Ensuring that today's generation of leaders take the proper actions and make the proper investment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will recall that in July 2025, our illustrious president, President Joseph Walker, and the former president of the African Development Bank, Akiwumi Adesina, launched a bold and highly transformative program, the Youth Entrepreneurship Investment Bank, YERB, which aims to shift Liberian youths from job seekers to job creators. By providing capital, skills, and business support services. The YERB is a US $18 million project aimed to benefit 30,000 youth-led businesses and generate more than 100,000 jobs. The YERB is being implemented under the Ministry of Commerce, and with the completion of recruitment of project management staff, the project is set to full start in a few weeks, and may I say in a few days. The President's vision for youth empowerment was also the driving force behind Liberia's successful bid for the relocation of the ECOWAS Youth and Sports Center from Burkina Faso to Liberia. The hosting of the ECOWAS Youth and Sports Center in Liberia will provide jobs and opportunities for Liberians, including the youth. The ECOWAS Center will also coordinate youth and sports programs across the entire ECOWAS region. I am proud to report that the Liberian government has fully funded the acquisition, rehabilitation, and furnishing of a diesel facility in Monrovia, which will shortly be dedicated by President Bong for use as the new headquarters of the ECOWAS Youth and Sports Center. Today's launch of the National Cadet Program also comes on the heels of several other empowerment and capacity building initiatives being undertaken by several other government ministries and agencies, including the Ministry of Labor, and my own ministry, the Ministry of Finance and Development. On December 30th, 2025, we completed a 4-month internship program for our first cohort of nearly 300 interns, whom we deployed at the MFDP and across other government institutions, including the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, thanks to MD Ali, the Moravia Center Corporation, the BJ Center Corporation, and the National Transit Authority. Some of these interns have already been fully employed by the MFDP, and they are assigned institutions as we prepare to recruit a second cohort of interns in June. This is government practicing what it preaches, creating entry points for young professionals to gain practical experience, demonstrate competence, and transition into meaningful employment. At the conclusion ceremony for the first cohort of interns at the MFDP in December, I made a commitment that I repeat here today. We pose absolutely no objection to employing exceptional young people who complete these programs because our greater intention is to leave no one behind. I therefore urge ministries and agencies and other institutions where our cadets will be assigned to absorb those cadets who, at the end of the 6 month internship program, will prove themselves deserving of employment. Today, through this National Cadet Program, we are about to give hope to more than 1,000 young people of Liberia. Yet, our detractors will say Liberia is going backward. We are about to start the construction and a rehabilitation of more than 100 schools across the country for foundational learning, and are building and renovating high schools across the country, including schools of the Monrovia Consolidated School System. Yet, our detractors will say Liberia is going backward. We are paving the road to the southeast, including the Gbarnga, and Hamper. We are rehabilitating and paving the road from Freeport to the Seaport Bridge and then the Bong on the side. And we'll soon begin the pavement of the Salaye to Bong and the Manitoba to Bong Highway. Yet the detractors will say we are going backward. Today, we are connecting more households to electricity and businesses and other extending electricity to businesses and other activities to enable nightlife and business activities are extending Monrovia, RI Highway, Bigana, and many other parts of the country. Yet, the tractors will say Liberia is going backward. Today, we have begun the pay. We have begun to pay and incentivize critical professionals in the civil service, including from the CB Donga Hospital right here in Bong County, where health workers in January 2025 danced for joy when they saw a light on their phone informing them of significant pay increases beginning January 2025. We have also fully reversed harmonization at the GSC and the LATC, and for members of the Supreme Court bench and judges of subordinate courts. We have effected significant increases in the pay of other health workers in the judiciary, as well as engineers and other professionals across government. Yet, our detractors will say Liberia is going backward. Today, we have succeeded in just 2 years, 3 months, and 24 days. We have succeeded in growing the budget from 738 million to upwards of 1.3 billion. Driven largely by historic increases in domestic revenue generation, occasioned by closing leakages in revenue collection and improved tax administration. Today, unlike in the past, where the country got accustomed to the submission of a recast budgets that essentially slashed appropriations of spending entities due to shortfalls in revenue collection, we are now talking about a supplementary budget that adds up to the appropriation of spending entities due to surplus revenue collection that forms, among others, the recruitment of more young people into our army, our police, and immigration service, as well as the enrollment onto the GOL payroll of more volunteer health workers and teachers, as well as chiefs across the country. Yet the detractors will say, Liberia is going backward. Today, our credibility and respectability have greatly improved at the United Nations, where we now serve as a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council, at the World Bank, at the IMF, at the African Development Bank, at the European Union, and with our bilateral partners, including the United States, China, France, etc. Yet, the detractors will stay saying that Liberia is going backward and that Liberia is not rising. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the development journey is not a 100-meter rectilinear dash to the finish line. I repeat, the development journey is not a 100-meter rectilinear dash to the finish line. The development journey oftentimes is like a marathon. A marathon race that passes through bumping, curving, and sometimes the continuous paths to the finish line. The infrastructure and other challenges inherited by this government was not insignificant. In fact, they were gargantuan. Addressing these challenges is a time-intensive, arduous task that demands that we dedicate enormous sweat and bring equity to the national transformation process. While we are on this journey, we will experience turbulence sometimes, requiring the captain to act that will temporarily tighten our seat belts. The solace that passengers take is the fact that good captains know how to pilot and land the plane safely to its destination in spite of turbulence. The Liberian flight to our development destination is being captained by an experienced pilot, President Joseph Bong. And we are well on course to achieving our development targets in spite of temporary bumps in the journey. The incontrovertible fact is that by and large, Liberia is going forward, not backward. Yes, our development journey from right to Gbarnga, on our development journey from right to Gbarnga, we concede that we have not reached Gbarnga yet in 2 years, 3 months, and 24 days. But we may be almost approaching total time. So, the tractors came and were focused on the distance we have not traveled yet. They came and were focused on the things we have not done yet. But they are dead wrong to say that the journey from Red Light to Gbarnga, that on the journey from Red Light to Gbarnga, we are still at Red Light. No, we are not. The distance from Red Light to almost approaching total time is quite a distance. And being at where we are now represents significant progress given the time we have traveled. In summary, we still have miles to travel on our development plan. But the fact that still remains stubborn is that Liberia is not where it used to be. Today is better than yesterday. And tomorrow will be better than today. And the day after tomorrow will be be better than tomorrow. To our deserving cadets, as you begin this noble journey today, let me put from the speech I delivered in January 2013 at the induction into the civil service of the second batch of recruits from the President's Young Professional Program, the YPP. Both myself, pursuing an undergraduate degree is undoubtedly a very exciting time in anyone's life. In undergraduate school, a young mind is loaded with tons of theories, hypotheses, models, etc. Complex realities in the real world are made simple through equations and other forms of abstraction. In school, every test drawn by an instructor has a test key. There is a definite answer to each of the questions asked by the professor or instructor. Success in school is usually defined as mastering the art of finding answers to the many exams that are given. Therefore, after spending 4 or more years in university, teaching out answers to test questions, a young person may get a little cocky, thinking that the real world or the university of life can be comprehended as neatly and as easily as one comprehended Pythagoras' theorem or the solar model. A young person bubbling with vitality and idealism, who has been made to think that success is defined primarily by scoring A's on an instructor's exam, experiences a rude awakening when he finds out that whereas in school 2 plus 2 was always equal to 4, or that complex economic realities will be explained by a graph, in the real world, 2 plus 2 may not always equal 4. And some intricate phenomena cannot lend themselves to neat graphical explanations. This sometimes brings in frustrations and even depression as the young person goes through the delicate and difficult period of reconciling theory to practice. Indeed, transitioning from the classroom to the workroom may not be as smooth and rosy as the young mind might have been led to believe. Being an honor roll student in university does not automatically transform anyone into an honor roll professional in the workplace. As you begin your professional journey, therefore, I urge you to go to the workplace with humility, with dedication, with discipline, with patience, patriotism, and above all, integrity. Develop good teamwork skills because you will find out in the professional space that success does not only depend on what you do, but what others will do. It is often said that teamwork makes the dream work. Cultivate good attitudes in the workplace because the right attitude may largely influence your attitude. My concluding words for you, or young cadets, or deserving cadets, is this: wherever of you may be assigned during the cadet program, I urge you to do this. Where you find darkness, spread your light. Where you find laziness, spread your strength. Where you find hopelessness, share your hope. Where you find indiscipline, spread your discipline. Where you find disrespect, share your respect. And where you find intolerance and envy, share your tolerance and love. And where you find wheeling and dealing, share your honesty and integrity. To Minister Kura and her team at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, thank you very much for designing and implementing this program with the seriousness they deserve. We know that executing such a massive undertaking is no small feat. And there will be lessons in implementation that we all will have to learn from in the future. And I'm sure, and I see our partners here, I know this initiative is encouraging them already to help us do for ourselves. I assure you, Madam Minister, that the Ministry of Finance stands ready to support programmatic needs as we continue building the human capital pipeline. And I assure you that the National Cadet Program, or this youth empowerment program that is now in the budget, has now taken permanent residence in the budget. Under the able leadership and guidance and vision of President Joseph Bimambo. It is now my singular honor and privilege, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to officially launch the National Cadet Program under the Public Sector Investment Program of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. This program produces graduates who embody discipline, demonstrate competence and self-integrity. These cadets become the professionals Liberia needs and the leaders Liberia deserves. Thank you, and may God bless the National Cadet Program. May God bless our youth. May God bless the Republic of Liberia. Thank you very much.